Oh yeah, is it? What's today? Is it Thursday? Oh, it's Thursday. Is it Thursday already? Wow. Andor Season 2 just got an exclusive new article from Empire Magazine with interviews from Ben Mendelsohn, who's coming back as Orson Krennic, to Tony Gilroy, who of course created the show, and more. Also, there are 10 new Star Wars movies currently in development. There is a crazy new plan for the future of Star Wars going on at Lucasfilm right now, and we just got a key insight into all of it. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had no idea what day of the week it was. All I knew is live stream today. And then I figured out it was Thursday by that logic. All right. So we got a lot of news to get to today. This exclusive from Andor Season 2 looks fantastic. I've read a little bit of it. We're going to read it together, and we have some interviews with the cast and crew. But the big topic that I want to talk about today, of course, other than Andor Season 2, is the upcoming Star Wars movies, because we just got this exclusive article from The Hollywood Reporter, which is one of the the most reliable, I should say, sources out there, and they're talking about there being possibly 10, yes, you heard that correctly, 10 Star Wars movies currently in development, and to my math, it could be closer to 15. So we're going to get into all of this, but first, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Brandon Baker, what is up? Haja in the house. KG, what is up? Chris, how we doing? Officer Murdoch, how we doing? Cole Rita in the house. What's up, Cole? Your pal Joe, what is up? Lobo, how we doing? Brandon Tran in the house. Trent, what is up? Darth Thor, how we doing? UV Clips in the house. Mike, what is up? Darth Raccoon, how we doing? Ian, what is up? Navarro, how we doing? If I missed you, you guys know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Dustin, how we doing? All right, let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. For some reason, my chat is not, oh, there we go. I don't know why I was doing that. I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, we're good. I know, we're close to 100K. So we hit 99,000 subscribers just a few days ago. We're at 99,300 subscribers. So we are only 700 away. A little less than 700 away from 100K. And of course, at 100K, that cup of water that I bring out every freaking stream will be dumped on my head, and we will celebrate quite a bit. We're doing a gigantic giveaway for 100K, the biggest giveaway we've ever done in channel history. We got to celebrate. But that happens in a few weeks, or maybe, I don't know when. It'll be an emergency live stream. Whenever we hit 100K, we'll go live immediately. So that's just a little behind the scenes stuff there. Let's talk about the Star Wars news. Where do you guys want to start with? Would you rather start with the Andor Season 2 exclusive article and all that stuff? Or would you rather start with the Hollywood Reporter's report of these 10 Star Wars, or 10 plus Star Wars movies in development? Where do you want to start? Andor Season 2 or Star Wars movie news? And the Rey stuff, because the Rey stuff is pretty interesting. Pretty dang interesting. So where do you guys want to start? We'll put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. If you haven't smashed a freaking like on the stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Smash a like. Which topic should we start with? Here we go. Andor Season 2 or Star Wars movies? You tell me. You tell me, Jet. Ooh, I see a lot of Andors. No need to pull it. Oh my God, that's a lot of Andor. Okay, okay. Jeez. We'll start with Andor Season 2. God. Oof. Okay. You guys don't want to know what the 10 movies that are in development are over at Lucasfilm? You don't want to know 10 plus Star Wars movies that could be coming our way? Damn. Okay, fine. You'll just have to wait then. I guess the anticipation will just have to keep you held over. We'll start with the Andor Season 2 news. Okay, chat? God. Didn't know you guys were going to be that crazy today. I didn't know that was going to... I didn't expect that one. 10 plus movies you guys don't want to know? Fine. No, fine. Andor Season 2 it is. Okay, so this exclusive article from Empire Magazine, by the way, do magazines even exist yet? I ask this all the time to you, chat, and nobody can give me the right answer. Do magazines exist? Because it's still called Empire Magazine. Whatever. Empire Magazine did release a exclusive for Andor Season 2. We've seen this before with Skeleton Crew, with Mandalorian, with Ahsoka. They all seem to get these exclusives with Empire Magazine. Now, this one's pretty interesting. This is the cover of the Empire Magazine. Whoops. Hang on, chat. Let's put this over there. Put that right there. Okay. This is the cover of the Empire Magazine, where you can see Cassian Andor front and center, Mon Mothma off to his left, and off to our left, off to our right is Orson Krennic, Director Krennic from Rogue One, who of course is played by Ben Mendelsohn. He is returning for Andor Season 2. That has been confirmed by Lucasfilm themselves, and if it wasn't confirmed enough, here you go. He's right there on the poster. So you can see in the background Coruscant, and I believe that's it. Yes, Coruscant's in the back. So it's just the cover of Empire Magazine. It's a preview to 2025, as it says right at the top. And Andor Season 2 just got its release date. Last weekend, it got its release date, April 22nd, 2025. Oh my God, I can't even remember the year. 2025 will be when this show airs, which is pretty cool. Okay. So that's actually only one of the covers, because this second cover I think is way cooler, but you tell me. This is the second cover for Empire Magazine. I mean, come on. I mean, this thing is sick, and there's a lot going on here. I mean, you got the Yavin 4 base right at the bottom. You got those Mayan-looking pyramids from the Yavin 4 Rebel base. You got the Death Star worked into the top of the Rebellion sign. Like this, there's so much going on there. That's really, really cool. But you got Yavin 4, you got the Death Star, Empire Magazine cover for the exclusive subscribers only. So we, I guess, are exclusive subscribers only for today, because we get the cover too. So this is the sort of exclusive to the subscribers cover, and then this is the public cover that will be released. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now let's talk about what this article is actually getting into. We got some quotes from some of these interviews here. So let's take a gander, shall we? We got actually some new images too. So let's take a look at these. We got a first look at Orson Krennic. This was actually from the trailer they released to the people at D23 about 4 months ago or whenever that was, in August. So at D23, when people that were at D23 got to see that sneak peek teaser trailer that wasn't released publicly, this was the look that you got at Orson Krennic in that trailer. And this is our first look at him. He looks, of course, the exact same as he did in Rogue One, which is what we want. And I can't wait to see more of Krennic. But we also got a look here. Where did that just go? Oh, here at Cassian Andor. So this looks like him getting into that TIE fighter, but honestly, chat, this doesn't really look like why can't I just open this? Oh, do I have to save the image first? Oh, okay, hang on. Save the image, and then we'll open it up here. Is that so hard? Okay. This seems to be in a cockpit of something. We're led to believe it is a TIE fighter, but it looks pretty roomy. A lot of space in there to be a TIE fighter. But Cassian Andor right there. We know there's going to be some pretty big time jumps in this second season. Every 3 episodes being a time jump of every year. There's going to be a year time jump in between each 3 episodes. But that's another look at Cassian. If we go back over here, because I opened up so many tabs trying to do that. There's your boy Krennic there, but we got some interview questions here. Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn revealed that Krennic and Dedra being this lady right here from Andor Season 1, will clash in Andor Season 2, as he says this. If they didn't see eye to eye to me, it's cute. Dedra versus Krennic, I think it's a bit of a mismatch. They're all underlings to Krennic. So that, I mean, confirms what we already knew. Krennic is the top dog, or at least he's one of the top dogs. You got Tarkin, you got obviously Vader, and Palpatine. But he's one of the top dogs. He's a director. But he's in charge of Dedra and all those other Imperials that we saw in the first season. So Dedra versus Krennic, it's not going to go over very well because Krennic's got way more power than she does. But that's pretty cool. Here's the big question we were talking about last stream. Will Tarkin be in Andor Season 2? And of course, he can't answer it. But doesn't this just reveal what we already assumed was going to happen, chat? We talked about this last stream, but tell me in the chat now, do you think Grand Moff Tarkin will appear in Andor Season 2? Tell me, chat. Because Ben Mendelsohn said this. You know, I can't answer that. And I delight in not being able to answer your question. It's a beautiful thing. This to me confirms that Tarkin will be in the show. He could have said no. He could have said no. And he doesn't even say, I can't answer that. He does say that, but he doesn't only say, I can't answer that. He goes on to say, and I am delighted not to be able to answer that question. It's a beautiful thing. Inferring that Tarkin will be in the show. Inferring that he's so delighted that he can't answer that question because he's pretty much telling us that he is in the show. He's delighted that he can't answer because he's under contract and he can't legally tell us that Tarkin is in the show. Seems like a no-brainer to me, but let me pull it up in the chat. Let me pull it up. I see some controversy in the chat. I see some controversy. Yeah, see? Yep. All right. I see it. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Do you think Tarkin will be in Andor Season 2? Okay. Seer Speed Reviews just brought up a great point that we have to talk about. When putting into consideration whether Tarkin will be in Andor Season 2, we have to talk about this. As they said, there are still issues behind the scenes with using Tarkin's image in Rogue One. That is true. Disney is being sued for the use of Peter Cushing's image in Rogue One. And we talked about this a little bit last stream, but I want to talk about it more today. Because, yes, they are being sued by a specific company for the use of Peter Cushing's image in Rogue One. However, Lucasfilm and Disney did get Peter Cushing's family estate's permission to use Tarkin's image in Rogue One. So shouldn't the family's permission be good enough? This random company in London that hasn't made a film in forever, 5 ever actually, not 4 ever, is now just suing maybe just to make a quick buck? Yes, they're going to be going through all that lawsuit stuff in court with this whole Tarkin in Rogue One stuff, but that doesn't stop us from getting him in Andor Season 2. Also, this lawsuit just popped up recently. It's within the last couple weeks. Andor Season 2 has been filmed for years now, or at least the majority of it has been. So Tarkin being in there has probably been something that's been an idea since day one, and they're not just going to take it out because some company's trying to make a quick buck off of suing Disney, which they probably won't. But I still ask, will Tarkin be in Season 2? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat. Hodges says, I want Tarkin in the show and to have a CGI house slippers on it. Oh, put house slippers on him? Okay. To honor Peter Cushing finding his Imperial boots to be uncomfortable. That would be hilarious, but very distracting. Yeah. Why are they trying to make Rey the new Kenobi? We'll get to the Rey news in a little bit, okay? We're talking Andor right now. We're talking Andor. Okay. Yes, he will be in it, but only briefly. Maybe just walk in, make a cameo like he does in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, if he's going to be in the show, it's not going to be like he's a main character. It's not going to be Tarkin, main character in Andor Season 2. Tarkin, a Star Wars story. That's not what's going on here. It's going to be a brief cameo. It's going to be a short appearance, but an appearance nonetheless. Now let's go back to what Ben Mendelsohn had to say about this, because to me, this just proves that he will be in the show. This answer, to me, just says he's in the show. Let's zoom in a little bit on this. That's a trillion times better, chat. Okay. There we go. His answer is not just, I can't answer that. He starts with that, but he goes on to say, and I delight in not being able to answer your question. It's a beautiful thing. Meaning he can't answer the question because he is in the frickin' show. I mean, anybody else see it differently? That hoodie slaps. Thank you. This is one of my favorite hoodies. I've had it for years now. It's getting quite cold over here, so you'll be seeing quite a bit of it. It's, of course, Grogu. By the way, Chad, Grogu premiered 5 years ago. Not today, but a few days ago. 5 years ago. So we've only had Grogu for 5 years when it feels like forever. But let's get back on track here. Okay, we got some other quotes here. Because this one comes from Diego Luna himself, who, of course, plays Cassian. And he says this. He's a man fully committed to the rebellion. It's someone who has to ascend in that rebellion. There's a huge mountain for him to climb in order to become the guy that we meet in Rogue One. So there's a lot of question as to what's going to go down with Cassian himself in Andor Season 2. And the big thing with Cassian himself, we see at the end of Andor Season 1, he joins the rebellion. He was kind of hired by the rebellion to help out on Aldhani. Then he gets captured by the Empire, put into a prison where he learns that this empire is horrible and he needs to help the rebellion to stop them. By the end of the first season, he joins the rebellion by the help of his mom and many others. So he joins the rebellion. Now we have to see him ascend in the rebellion from just a soldier to a leader, which we saw in the trailer, which we'll get to in a minute. But in the trailer where Luthen tells him you have to be a leader. And that's where we see him in Rogue One, at the beginning of Rogue One. So that's what Diego Luna has to say about Cassian in Andor Season 2. Now we got some K2SO stuff. So, Diego Luna, on Cassian Andor and K2SO meeting in Andor Season 2, because this is going to be the big deal in Season 2. We know K2SO is a fan favorite droid from Rogue One. He's a helper of the rebels, not a villain, but he is an Imperial droid. So somehow, some way, he goes from being that Imperial droid to a rebel. And that story has to be explained. And that's what Season 2 is all about. So this is what Diego Luna has to say about that without giving too much away. From an audience perspective, they've probably made their own story about how Cassian and K2 got to work together. Much like every other Star Wars project that's ever existed, for example, the sequel trilogy, fans for decades had their own version of what happened to Luke, Leia, and Han in their heads. Everybody did. And it was probably different for each person. What happened with Luke going on to train his next Jedi Order, what happened with Leia and Han and how they made a family together, all that stuff was different in everybody's mind. That's what Cassian's saying here. Fans have their own interpretation of what happened with Cassian and K2 when they first met. But there's only one real answer to what actually happened, and we're going to learn that in Season 2. It tells you a lot about Cassian, and his best friend is a droid. That his best friend is a droid, sorry. And a droid he had to reprogram. That's pretty interesting. That gives us a little bit of information right there. But how did that actually happen, and who was he before? Those questions are going to be answered. Confirmation that those questions will be answered. But who was he before? Meaning, when we first meet K2SO, he's not going to be a good guy. He's probably going to be a droid who works for the Empire. It's his programming. But as he says here, Cassian will be the one to reprogram him. And we'll get to see that happen and how they become besties, which will be pretty cool. So there's your K2SO sort of feed, I guess. Then we get to hear from Tony Gilroy himself, the creator of the show, the writer, the man behind it all. And he's talking about Yavin, okay? Yavin 4. We just talked about it being the rebel base, as you can see right here, from A New Hope. And we see it in Rogue One, so it makes sense that it would be in Andor Season 2. And it will be. But this location specifically, the rebel base on Yavin 4, allows us to see a lot of familiar faces, from a Bail Organa to the Ghost crew, because we see the Ghost and Chopper on Yavin 4 in in Rogue One. So we could be seeing Hera Syndulla in live action. We could be seeing Bail Organa, Leia Organa, and maybe some other familiar faces, because Yavin 4 is a location that we know for a fact we are going to. But Tony Gilroy elaborates as he says, I mean, we have to end up on Yavin, right? So we're going to tell the story of Yavin. No one has quite dealt with Yavin the way that we are going to do it. This is wild. There's a difference between just seeing the Yavin base. Again, it's a nostalgic thing to see and possibly brings in characters like a Harrison Dula, Bail Organa. But what he's saying here is they're actually going to tell the story of Yavin that no one has ever done before. To me, Yavin 4 has always just been the rebel base from A New Hope, which is fine. But there's a lot more to this planet. Just look at the frickin' structures themselves. Now, I don't know if it's actually canon or not, so I'm going to look it up. At least in Legends it is. But let's see. Yavin 4 Star Wars. Let's check out the canon side of things with Yavin. Let's check it out. Okay. Yavin 4, also known as Yavin, was a jungle-covered fourth moon in the orbit around the the red gas giant Yavin Prime. Prior to the galactic blah 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 blue blah blee blue blah blue blee blue blah. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Early history. That's what I want to see. 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, the ancient warriors of the Masaisi lived on Yavin 4 and constructed the Great Temple, which we of course see in A New Hope. The Great Temple was alleged to have been built under the leadership of the Sith Lord. Keep that in mind. I'm going to skip that one. Shadow? Okay. Around 5,000 BBY. So let's take that into effect here. This is canon information. We are on the canon side of things. This is the early history of the canon side of Yavin 4. Those temples you see on the planet are built by a Sith Lord. So when Tony Gilroy talks about diving deep into what hasn't been told before, Yavin 4, the actual story of Yavin that nobody has dealt with before, is he really talking about seeing or explaining that this is a possible Sith temple? It sounds crazy, but there is a background, is a history behind Yavin 4 that has never been told in Star Wars that would be quite cool to see in Andor Season 2. I don't know. We'll see. He does say they're going to tell the story of Yavin. I wonder how they'll do it. I wonder. Oh, oops, sorry. Let's go to the next one. There we get a good look at Ben Mendelsohn. There. Okay. Let's get to this actual article from the Empire magazines themselves. Okay. Rogue One. Orson Krennic is back in Andor Season 2 and set to clash with Dedra Meero, which we talked about a second ago. Let's read this from Empire themselves. In the pantheon of Star Wars villains, Orson Krennic is perhaps the most thrillingly smug. Played to sneering perfection, by Ben Mendelsohn, Rogue One's baddie wasn't the leader of the Empire or a Sith Lord, but he was something of a middleman, overseeing the completion of the Death Star, which eventually ends up under Tarkin after Krennic dies. Again, another reason we could be seeing Tarkin in this show. Delighted in throwing his weight around, while also finding himself severely outranked by overpowered by the likes of Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader in Rogue One. And while he bit the bullet, or a blast of his own Death Star, the weapon he created killed him. Ironic. And at the end of Rogue One, he's back in Andor Season 2, once again, donning the pristine white cape as an Imperial superweapon approaches completion. So as the Death Star is coming close to completion, we're going to finally get to see Krennic in all of his wonders. So just as Krennic bumped up against internal resistance in Rogue One, he'll have even more competition to face in Andor. Like Denise Gaz? Sure. Ultra ambiguous Dedra Meero, a highlight in Season 1. So Dedra is the Imperial lady from season 1. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. She's trying to build her way up in the Empire really quickly. We see her try to do her own thing when it comes to capturing Cassian Andor in season 1. So, as we just read before, Ben Mendelsohn said this: "If they didn't see eye to eye to me, it's cute. Because who cares? She's an underling of him. He doesn't care. He is way more powerful than her, or way more power than her, so it doesn't matter." As he said this, Dedra versus Krennic, I think it's a bit of a mismatch. They're all underlings to Krennic, except plenty of jostling, even if the Imperial forces are all aligned in their arms. They're all going in one direction, he says. The Empire, if you speak your mind, there are difference of opinion. So usually it's not going to work very well if you are working for the Empire and you have a differing opinion. The real question is, does the return of Krennic also mean the return of Tarkin? We come back to this, of course. And it's still a poll in the chat, which, by the way, is currently at 69%. Nice. 69% of you guys say yes, you do think Tarkin will be in this second season, which, I mean, I agree with you, but that's pretty wild. Oh, Fearless with the 8-month membership badge. I appreciate it, Fearless. I appreciate it. Memberships, super chats, keep the lights on over here. I appreciate it. All right, let's get back to this article. The real question is, will Tarkin be in season 2? The OG Star Wars baddie, played by the late, great Peter Cushing, who stole credit for the Death Star plans in Rogue One. He literally killed Krennic, and stole the credit for the Death Star for himself. Which, yes, he did appear in Rogue One at the end. You know, I can't answer that. He swerved the question. But it's a delight. I delight in not being able to answer that question. It's a beautiful thing. There you go. Just like his crisp white capes, as he says. So this doesn't come out until November 21st, which is next week. So in a week from today, the full issue comes out. So next week, this time next week, we'll be getting so many more interviews and information, I guess, about Andor Season 2, but still quite a bit. From the cover of the magazine, premiering or showing off, I guess, Cassian, Krennic, and Mon Mothma, with the Coruscant behind them, to a possible appearance of not only Tarkin, but the history of Yavin 4, which is pretty damn cool to me. But that's sort of the Andor Season 2 news. Actually, I do have one more article to get to here when it comes to that Andor Season 2 news. So this just talks about those things. Okay, let's get to this one. This one is one we haven't talked about yet. So Diego Luna also said this. Oh, that you can't see that, can you? K2SO and Krennic are not the only new elements in Season 2, as Diego Luna said this. We move in space more than ever. Think about that for a second. Season 1 of Andor showed so many different locations. So many. And we got to see them go through hyperspace time and time again, from Coruscant to Ferrix to the where does the show start on? Something Prime, something whatever. Aldhani to the planet where the One Way Out sequence is on. Blanking on the name of that one too. We go to a lot of different locations, we'll put it that way. And Diego says we move in space more than ever, meaning we're going to get more planets, more locations, more craziness in Season 2. The amount of planets and sets you're going to get to see, all right, that's what he's saying. There are some familiar and new locations. So new locations like Season 1 would be like Ferrix and Aldhani, but familiar ones are more like Coruscant, Yavin 4. Some fans seem to think Naboo could be in there, but I don't know really why. Narkina 5, thank you. Yes, Narkina 5. Naboo might be in there. There's some other planets that could make appearances, but there are going to be a lot of locations in the second season. As you can tell, this looks like a new one to me, but maybe not. That's where Bix is. Andor Season 2. Yeah, this is where Tony Gilroy was talking about Yavin, so we don't have to. We already went over that. So, yeah, more information will come within the next couple of days, blah, blah, blah. And it comes out on April 22nd. There you go. So that's the deal with Andor Season 2. Pretty cool. I mean, exclusives are always great. They give us a lot of information. We learn about Yavin. We learn about Krennic being in the show and how that dynamic works. But it won't be until next week when that full article comes out when we'll really get the information that we're looking for. Interestingly enough, we've gone through this live stream by about a half hour. Yeah, we're about at the 30-minute mark. And we haven't even mentioned Skeleton Crew. I opened up the stream talking about these possible 10 different Star Wars movies currently on the slate. We talked about Andor Season 2 for the last 30 minutes. Skeleton Crew comes out in 19 days. 19 days. The show premieres on December 3rd with 2 episodes. It's the next live-action show. And yet, here, we're talking about Star Wars movies and Andor Season 2, which isn't a bad thing, but 19 days. Skeleton Crew. So I actually think within the next week or so, we will get another Skeleton Crew trailer so that the conversation switches. Because right now, they got a show coming out in 19 days and nobody's talking about it. The whole conversation in the Star Wars community right now is about Andor Season 2. And it has been since this trailer dropped 3 days ago. When did this trailer drop? 2 days ago? 2 days ago. So let's take a gander at this trailer. We'll watch it through once. It's just a Disney Plus 2025 upcoming shows and stuff. It does feature Andor Season 2 and Skeleton Crew. We watched it on Tuesday's live stream. Excuse me. But let's just watch it through once, and then we'll switch over to the Star Wars movie news, shall we?
I got something coming up. Something kind of big.
It just feels like the one.
Let's make it worth it. Excellent.
Sometimes your work family is closer to you than your family family.
This could be a real adventure.
Real adventure.
A crew of murderous pirates is coming.
I found the president lying next to his bed.
Did you kill him?
I have one rule. Stay out of the basement.
This ship collected specimens on faraway moon. Watched us.
I want to build something iconic.
How far are you willing to go to get what you want? By the look of it, you've come up in the world. I wonder if your darker half would agree.
What's up? It's Russ Holiday, former quarterback. But I'm not done with football.
You get to decide who you are.
My name's Chad Powers.
Your family was fostering a little girl.
We're supposed to be on the same team.
True that we are on the same team.
She's not who she says she is.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot.
You're thinking like a thief.
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
Something big is about to happen.
Let's bring them home.
All of this world. Everything's changed.
So that was just released a couple days ago. It's to get people hyped up for Disney Plus in 2025. And honestly, it does, from not only the Star Wars content, but everything else as well. Daredevil looks great. Percy Jackson looks great. Even Ironheart looks pretty damn good. I was not excited for that show, but I might check it out now. Let's go back to the Skeleton Crew part first. I believe it's towards the beginning. Yeah, here we go. There it is. All right, this is Skeleton Crew, a little sneak peek. And before you say, Mike, it doesn't come out in 2025, we're getting in 19 days. Yes, it does come out in 19 days, but it will go into 2025.
This could be a real adventure.
I just noticed this literally right now. There's a picture of Neil like holding some drinks or something, some poster behind him. I don't know what's going on there. And that looks like Indiana Jones's whip too. Honestly, chat, I don't know what's going on, but this just caught, like, what? Doesn't it look like he's holding 2 plates of, like, drinks or something? He's just like this? What's going on with our boy Neil? And why is it up on the wall? What is going on here? That's not Neil? What do you mean that's not Neil? Who else would that be? Neil's dad, maybe? Mom? Something? Popcorn buckets? It could be popcorn buckets. I don't know. Looks like Vishu? Who? What? What are you talking about? That's Neil's mom? Could be. Could be. Oh my God. Oh my God. What if Neil isn't Neil? Oh. Okay. Let's keep going.
Adventure.
A crew of murderous pirates is coming.
So we get our first look at Vane, or actual first look.
Murderous pirates
Right there. Vane being from The Mandalorian Season 3.
is coming.
And Brutus. I think Brutus is going to be the main pirate in this Skeleton Crew show. He's Captain Brutus. That's his name. And they're kind of hiding him in the trailers. We rarely see him at all. And we actually only see him in these brief 2 seconds. You see him from behind here. Then you see him blasting there. We get to see these 2 ships get blown out of the sky.
I found the president.
And that's it for Skeleton Crew. Then we fast forward to the end here and we get to see some Andor.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot.
You're thinking like a thief.
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
So a few things going on there. He's obviously telling him to think like a leader. By the time we see Cassian in Rogue One, he is that leader, which we'll see him go on that arc in Season 2. But this right here at the beginning and the scene where Cassian is blasting right here are the same, and they're both at the Gorman Massacre, or Gorman Massacre? Yeah, Gorman Massacre in Star Wars, which is a massacre that is, of course, played out by the Empire, but the guy in charge of that massacre is Grand Moff Tarkin. So another connection to possibly seeing Tarkin in the second season as well is right there in the first teaser trailer.
No one who can help us.
We need a pilot.
And I did think that this looked like Vader's TIE fighter, and I'm still on board that theory because, first of all, look at this. There's an open door in front of him. Now, the door could close. That's of course, a possibility. But it doesn't look like the TIE Avenger or TIE Interceptor that we see in a second because it doesn't come to a point all the way down here. It comes to a point quicker. Now, this is me just fanboy dreaming over here. It's probably not Darth Vader's TIE fighter, but hey, a man can dream.
You think
And then you see him in the cockpit of one.
like a thief.
Because that is a TIE Interceptor, obviously. You got the long things, or TIE Avenger, whatever you want to call it. It's a different TIE than Vader's TIE. So, yeah. And then maybe he blasts through the door that closes. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, chat. Maybe I've lost my goddamn mind. But a man can dream.
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
Something big.
And by the way, this is the outfit that he wears in Rogue One. So this will probably be towards the end of the series, and it will be the same outfit he's wearing in Rogue One.
Something.
And then at the very end, we get a glimpse at K2SO. Boom. First look at K2SO in Andor Season 2. He's on Coruscant, which is interesting. We don't know if he's currently working with the Empire in this scene or if he's already with the Rebellion. But when you have a droid like this, you can really sneak into any location because he's an Imperial droid, just reprogrammed. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him, or if this is even Coruscant. Like, yes, it looks like Coruscant, obviously, but there's other planets that look like Coruscant in Star Wars. You look at the sequel trilogy, you got the whole Hosnian Prime system. But I'm guessing it's Coruscant. To not confuse all the people, it looks like Coruscant. It probably is Coruscant. And then we get to look at Jude Law right after this. Boom, right there. Holding some weird staff thing. We don't know what's going on. But there you have it. That was the trailer that dropped a couple days ago. That gave us our first look at Andor Season 2 and another look at Skeleton Crew. But let's finish up on Andor Season 2 so we can switch gears over to these 10-plus Star Wars movies on the way and what's going on with the Rey movie. Is it turning into a Rey trilogy? And is Rey really the new Obi-Wan Kenobi? We'll talk about that in a second. But let's put an end cap here on Andor Season 2. First things first, tell me in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Andor Season 2? On a scale of 1 to 10, chat. It comes out April 22nd, so it's still about December, January, February, March, April. It's still about 5 months away. 5 months. That's a long time. Now, between then and now, we have Skeleton Crew, which is 8 episodes, so about 7 weeks of Skeleton Crew. And you have Star Wars Celebration, which is April 18th to 20th. So April 18th to 20th, which is 2 days before Andor Season 2 premieres, we're going to get an insane amount of Star Wars news. Insane amount. Announcements of new shows, updates on Ahsoka Season 2, Mando and Grogu, some more trailers for Andor Season 2, I'm sure. But it seems to me that the hype level for Andor Season 2, specifically, is way higher than anything else that's currently on the docket for Star Wars. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems to be the case. And as I look at the chat right now, as I asked you guys to rank your excitement out of 10, I see 10s, I see 12s, I see 9.5s, I see 7.5s, I see 20s, hundreds, millions, billions. The hype level for Andor Season 2 is extremely high. Extremely high. Which is really, really cool. Because Season 1, although it was an incredible story, the viewer numbers were extremely low. I think it was... marketing-wise, it wasn't the greatest. They didn't market the show well, but also the lack of lightsabers, lack of Force, didn't really draw in the normie fans, for lack of a better word. So I think Season 1 walked so that Season 2 could fly. That's not how it goes. Season 1 crawled so that Season 1, 2 could walk? I don't know the saying. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Season 1 kind of got crushed in the viewership numbers so that Season 2 could soar. I think Season 2 is going to be a massive success for Star Wars. I think its viewer numbers will be triple, quadruple, quintuple what the first season was, and it'll be up in the same range as The Mandalorian and all those other shows, all those other great shows. Yeah. Yes, Season 1 will be rewatched. People who will be anticipating the second season will go back and rewatch Season 1. I just did it a couple weeks ago, and I will do it again in 4 months. So it will get more views there. But Season 2, I think, because it involves characters like K2SO, who's in Rogue One, Krennic, who's in Rogue One, probably seeing Tarkin, maybe even Vader, Palpatine, Bail Organa, Leia Organa, Harrison, like all those people will draw in the attention of those normie fans. Yeah. Yeah, word of mouth did help Andor Season 1. People now still hype up Andor Season 1. So many people have Andor Season 1 as their favorite live-action Star Wars project, even higher than The Mandalorian for some people. To me, it's not, but I still really enjoy it. So that's kind of word of mouth is very, very helpful in Star Wars, to say the least, and so many people loved that first season. So word of mouth gets out there, and Season 2 is highly anticipated by many, many Star Wars fans. Yeah. Let me scroll back up here. Let me scroll back up. I love how active the chat is today. It's crazy. I want to see Chopper on the Yavin 4 base. It's possible. Chopper, are you going to be in Andor Season 2? Quiet treatment. He signed an NDA. He can't talk about it. He can't. He told me off stream, he said, Mike, look, if you're going to ask me, it was more like, but he said, if you're going to ask me, I can't give you a straight answer because, you know, I'd get sued. So Chopper can't answer that question. Maybe Galen Erso will make an appearance in Andor Season 2. That's actually a good one. Galen Erso, the father of Jyn Erso, the character from Rogue One, the main character from Rogue One, is the guy who is the architect of the Death Star. He's the one who puts the flaw in the Death Star so that the rebels can eventually destroy the Death Star. So Galen would be pretty cool to see in this second season. Now the problem becomes he can't really be on the same screen as Cassian, which isn't that big of a problem. We've seen other characters have completely different scenes without Cassian in Season 1, from Mon Mothma to Luthen to everybody, I guess. There's a lot of scenes without Cassian in them. But I wonder if they're going to spend the time to show us Galen Erso. Here's the deal. Some of you might not know this, but Galen Erso is played by an actor known as Mads Mikkelsen. He's known as Mad Mikkelsen because that is his name. I find myself really funny sometimes. Okay. He's known as Mads Mikkelsen. And Mads Mikkelsen has a brother. And that brother goes by, because it's his name, Lars Mikkelsen. And Lars Mikkelsen is most known for voicing the character of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, recently, Grand Admiral Thrawn made his live-action appearance in Ahsoka Season 1 last year. And that live-action appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn was played by Lars Mikkelsen. So the two brothers play two completely different characters, but both villains. I guess Galen's not really a villain, but they both play characters in the Star Wars universe. Mads playing Galen Erso, the architect of the Death Star, and Lars playing Grand Admiral Thrawn, the big blue meanie. It would make sense from just a business standpoint to please both brothers, to keep them both happy and keep fans happy as well by bringing bringing Mads back to play Galen in Andor Season 2 in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't even have to be a big appearance. It could just be a cameo like we're talking about with Tarkin as well. Tell me in the chat. Give me a 1 if you think Galen Erso will be in Andor Season 2, and give me a 2 if you're like, Mike, no way, Jose. Even though my name is Mike. Tell me in the chat. Galen Erso, yes or no? What do we think? Is it Mags or Mads? It's Mads. Mads Mikkelsen with a D. Yeah. Interesting. That is a lot of ones. That is a lot of ones. And I agree with you. I think he will be in this second season. I don't think it'll be a big role or a big appearance, but he will likely be in the show for sure. Yeah. Wolf Moon says, I just realized that there's another poster for Skeleton Crew, and some characters are placed differently. Oh, the banner one? Yeah, we've looked at the banner one. Yeah. That is true. True indeed it is. You'd think that Luke and Leia and Kanan would have sensed something about the Yavin temples. Well, yes and no. I mean, the Jedi temple on Coruscant was built over a Sith temple, and they didn't know. But the Sith aren't like around at that temple currently. So, and at the time that, we don't know if Kanan ever went there, but at the time that Luke and Leia are there, neither of them are very strong with the Force. Luke has barely had any training and Leia's had none. Yeah. Put the Boba Fett helmet on? Maybe. I could be persuaded to put the Boba Fett helmet on. Could be. Okay. Yeah. I hope Galen Erso makes an appearance in Season 2. I hope so too. It would be cool because obviously we're going to see Krennic, and Krennic's in charge of the Death Star, and he's the architect of the Death Star, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah. Galen and Andor and Hondo and Skeleton Crew. Yes, please. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. For sure. Lucasfilm kept a lot of likeness rights from A New Hope. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know that to be true. Tarkin literally let Krennic do all the work and then took the credit. Not only did he take the credit, he killed the guy and then took the credit. He was just like, I'm just going to murder you. And then all that hard work that you did, I'm just going to, take that for myself. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you pal. Oh, perfect. Okay. So let's do that. So the founding member, or the first ever member, I should say, first ever member on this channel is your pal Joe. Shout out to your pal Joe in the chat. First ever member of the channel. And last month, we do a giveaway at the end of every month for all you awesome members. And last month, we did a giveaway of, where is it? Okay, hang on. We did a giveaway of a Mandalorian helmet. And your pal Joe just so happened to, he had a 1 in 70 whatever chance to win it. And he happened to win it. Now, the problem is, he sent these pictures in the Discord. In the Discord, if you guys are not in it, go join it immediately. The Discord, there's a link in the description below, is so active and popular that the picture. Oh, found him. Okay, let's take a gander at these. So this thing is so damn sweet, and I might actually have to buy my own after seeing it. So this was the giveaway last month, and it finally got shipped to him, so let's check it out. This is the Mandalorian helmet from Art Sabers. I'm currently in talks with Art Sabers right now to get something going with a possible sort of, what's it called? Content creator link type deal so that we can get a percentage off. Something like that, a creator code, I should say. So, and then we can go through that. So we're in the works with that. But Art Sabers is so generous. They sent me this Anakin saber behind me. That is incredible. I made a unboxing video of that. So we, of course, did a giveaway of an Art Sabers helmet. Sorry, I couldn't put it back. And this thing is swaggy. So shout out to you, pal Joe, for winning this. This thing is sweet. Pretty damn cool. We'll just have to get a whole army of people with those and go take back Mandalore. Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. Okay, let's keep going. I loved Rogue One. I'm so excited. Okay, here's the deal. Rogue One is probably the top tier Star Wars film. No, it's not probably. It is. And for some people, they have it even in their top 3. It's in my top 3 for sure. It goes Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, and Rogue One. I don't know why I'm losing my voice today, chat, but I am, and it's pissing me off. Okay. But Rogue One is a top-tier movie. To have a prequel about the character of Cassian Andor be that good for just the first season, and then have a follow-up season be this highly anticipated is so damn cool. And honestly, I think personally, now I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I like Harry Potter. I like a lot of different franchises, okay? Star Wars is always number one. And it's always number one for many different reasons. But to me, I see no other franchise that has the ability to do something like this. Create a spin-off movie called Rogue One that explains the first ever Star Wars movie. Then make a prequel to that in a spin-off show on Disney Plus and have that be just as good as the movie and the movie that came before it. And then be able to have a second season of that show that fills in the gap completely, and that be probably, hopefully, just as good, if not better than the first thing that happened. And I don't see any other franchise that's been able to do that at such a successful rate. We'll put it that way. You usually see prequels bomb or suck or be horrible, or they're just so nonsensical that they don't even make sense. But with Star Wars, it's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I'm reading Catalyst, which is the prequel to Rogue One. Pretty good so far. My question with Catalyst, because Catalyst is mostly about the Empire, and it's not really got like Cassian involved. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I wonder how that's going to fit in with Andor Season 2. Jyn Erso would be amazing. I agree. By the way, 70% of you guys think Tarkin will be in Season 2. 70. That's crazy. I think so too, but that's still an insanely big number. Yeah. Good question. Mike, which show are you more hyped up for? Andor Season 2 or Skeleton Crew? Honestly, right now, currently, sitting here on November 14th, 2024 at 2:52 or 2:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On this day right now, this second, it's Andor Season 2. Now, the reason for it being that we had Andor Season 1 first. So I know what to sort of expect going into Andor Season 2. With Skeleton Crew, I don't know what to expect. Now, there will be trailers that will come out over the next 19 days and all this stuff that will give us some more information about the show. But because Season 2 of Andor is a Season 2, and Skeleton Crew is only the first season of the show, I don't know what to expect. So my hype level for Andor is way higher Although that could change really quickly. Really quickly. I don't know, chat. What are you guys more excited for? Andor Season 2 or Skeleton Crew? Andor Season 2 or Skeleton Crew? Jude Law seems to be a good guy in Skeleton Crew. I think they're leading us to believe that, yes. But I don't think he will be. I don't think he will be. See, a lot of you guys are saying Andor Season 2. I agree with you, like I just mentioned, but I think that might change. I think Skeleton Crew is going to be a really big surprise that people don't expect. It's going to be like The Mandalorian Season 1. Nobody knew what to expect with that show. Nobody at all. And then when it came out, we were like, oh shit, this is really good. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hyped up for both, for sure. I think just Andor Season 2 is higher, a little bit higher than Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Officer Murdoch says, why can't I see my comments? I don't know. I can see your comments. Starship 66 says, losing my excitement a little bit for Skeleton Crew. I'm around on 7.5. I need another trailer. I'm not losing my excitement for Skeleton Crew. It just hasn't gone up yet, which is concerning because we're 19 days away. But I expect there to be multiple trailers leading up to the show, just like they did with The Acolyte, just like they did with Ahsoka, just like they do with everything. There'll be multiple trailers leading up to the show, getting people hyped up. And I think there's going to be a lot of surprises coming our way in Skeleton Crew. Like, a lot. Like, we have no idea what's coming. None. Zip. Nada. Yeah. A new Skeleton Crew trailer is needed. I agree. I agree. I agree. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the movies. We'll switch gears, okay? We'll switch gears a little bit here. Unless Skeleton Crew drops something crazy like Hondo Unaka or Cal Kestis, I think that could be coming. Yeah, Ahsoka Season 2. Well, Ahsoka Season 2, if we're adding Ahsoka Season 2 into the mix, that's higher than all of them. Absolutely. Not even close. Ahsoka Season 2 is like all the way up here, and then everything else is like in this area. Yeah. She's my second favorite character. The first season is my favorite single season of a Star Wars show ever. And it left us on a cliffhanger. So yeah, I want more of that. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about these movies, shall we? So let's end this poll. Let's end this poll about Tarkin, which, by the way, 71% of you guys said, yes, you think Tarkin will be in Season 2, which is crazy to me, which is crazy. But let's talk about this. So The Hollywood Reporter released this article. And I think the only thing we can really do here is just read this article first, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? So going into this article, keep this in mind. I think there are over 10, possibly 15 Star Wars movies currently in development at Lucasfilm right now. Not only that, they all might be connected. Obviously, they're connected in the way that they're all Star Wars movies, but they'll all be connected in some sort of way. Keep that in mind as we read this article. Star Wars movies race for Rey, the future of the franchise on the big screen. Interestingly enough, they're going to focus a lot on the character of Rey. Now, before you cast your judgments, let's read this. Forget the Death Star. The most coveted weapon in the Star Wars movie arsenal is the character of Rey Skywalker. Since the November 7th reveal of Simon Kinberg that he has signed on to develop and write and produce a new Star Wars trilogy for Lucasfilm and Disney, debate has focused on whether or not it will be a continuation of the so-called ninth film Skywalker saga, tying into the legacy of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and the storylines first laid out by George Lucas in 1977. The reason for this debate is the new hoped-for trilogy would feature Rey in some form or fashion. So let's talk about this. Yes, about a week ago, actually exactly a week ago, Simon Kinberg was reported to be signed on to develop a new Star Wars trilogy. We talked about this. We talked about this on Thursday stream. We talked about it on Saturday stream. We talked about it quite a bit. We are led to believe that this trilogy will be about Rey, or at least a post-sequel world. Now, most reporters were saying that it would be the beginning of a new trilogy, not an extension of the Skywalker saga. A new trilogy with new characters. And Rey would not be the main character, however, she would become a Obi-Wan type of mentor character. So the same way that Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan in the original trilogy is the mentor to Luke, the mentor to Leia, and I guess more so Luke, but all the characters, that will be Rey's role in this new trilogy. She will have started the new Jedi Order, and she will be a Grand Master or a Master at that Jedi Temple, but she won't be the main character, or at least that's what we're talking about. So let's keep reading. Some fans have expressed criticisms that Lucasfilm would return to the well to make episodes, as they are called, like Episode 1 being The Phantom Menace to Episode 9 being The Rise of Skywalker. Beyond the 9 films that comprise the Skywalker story, which has been billed as concluded in 2019's Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. All the marketing in 2019 for The Rise of Skywalker was the end of a saga. The saga comes to an end. Every great story has an end. That's how they marketed that movie. To come back just 5 to 7 years later and announce a new trilogy that's Episode 10. No, Episode 9 was not the end of the saga. Uno reverse card. Nope. Wipe your mind with the Men in Black thing. That didn't happen. This is the extension of the Skywalker saga. No, I don't think that's happening. That's not going to happen at all. What's going on here is this is the beginning of a new saga. Not Episode 10 to 12, which, by the way, is 3 episodes, 10, 11, 12. It's the beginning of a new saga. Let's keep reading. That film grossed $1.077 billion globally, but also wasn't received well by much of the Star Wars fandom. Received a B+ grading from the audience poll on CinemaScore and a 51% critics tally on Rotten Tomatoes. But Rey, the scavenger turned Jedi played by Daisy Ridley in the last 3 episodes of the movies, is key to the franchise's next turn that potentially puts Keinberg's trilogy story development as early in its conceptual stages as it may be, on a collision course with the Rey standalone movie that is actively in the works with the director Sharmina Bed-Chinoy. Here's the deal, chat. We're going full screen for this one. These two projects can't coexist. We can't get a Rey standalone solo movie and a Rey trilogy. We just can't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Now you're talking about just some sort of spin-off, one-off solo movie with Rey, and then she gets her own trilogy? What's the point? The real situation that's going on here is whether or not Simon Kinberg has signed on for a trilogy that's going to feature Rey as a character, or whether that trilogy is somewhere else in the Star Wars timeline. It seems as though that first option is what's going on here. So the Rey movie is kind of thrown out the window, or at least it's going to be turned into the first of that trilogy. These two projects are not going to coexist together. We're not getting 4 Rey movies. Hate to break it to you. If you're a giant Rey fan, that's not what's happening here. We are getting a Rey trilogy, or at least a sequel trilogy that Rey will feature in as an Obi-Wan Kenobi type character with a new cast of characters to start a new saga. Now, as we keep reading, keep in mind, none of this, absolutely none of this, has been confirmed by Lucasfilm. The reason for that being is obviously Star Wars Celebration is in 5 months, and that's when they will announce all this stuff. But for now, take it with a grain of salt, because all of this is just reported and rumored by, yes, very reliable sources, but not by Lucasfilm themselves. Okay. That feature, revealed with fanfare in April 2023 at Star Wars Celebration in London, is to star Daisy Ridley, and could have actually been in production were it not for some unexpected headwinds, with writers rotating around more than R2-D2's Chrome Dome. That's a good one. A new writer's search is underway, and it's unclear when they will get when that one would go. Here's the deal. Yes, I already forgot his name. Stephen Knight. Yes, Stephen Knight has left the Rey movie, but this is Simon Kinberg hopping on to be the new writer. This isn't, oh, we're looking for some other writer, and we also have Simon Kinberg. No. Simon's probably been on board for a couple months now. They usually don't leak this stuff out until it's actually solidified. So it's probably been for a couple months now. Same way that Stephen Knight has probably been off the project for a couple months now. But it seems as though Simon is the new writer, at least if you have a brain and you have some common sense. That's what it looks like. Perhaps that is why Lucasfilm was receptive to Simon Kinberg's multi-story pitch. Anything to move Rey forward. But it does engender rumors of Star Wars underground of filmmakers jostling for characters. Daisy Ridley, for the part, recently told Hollywood Reporter this: "I feel like the new ones will be so interesting. Time has passed and a lot has changed for me personally, so it'll be interesting to come back to someone who I know so well, but in a different moment." So we talked about this before, weeks and weeks ago, her mentioning that there are new ones. Daisy Ridley knows a lot more information than we do, chat. That's clear. She's in those meetings. She's having those conversations. So she knows a lot of stuff we don't. She probably knows that this trilogy that Simon Kinberg is writing is for her, and that's why she refers to them as new ones in this scenario here. But what's pretty wild about this is the Simon Kinberg signing on for a trilogy. This was the great news of the news. The sequel trilogy, whether you like it or not, was a very jumbled story because it was 3 different storytellers telling the story. Yes, J.J. Abrams was started the story and ended the story, but you had Rian Johnson right in the middle. So you have a very jumbled story from start to finish. If you have one writer, one producer throughout the entire trilogy, like a Simon Kinberg, then that trilogy will have a cohesive and well-written, hopefully well-written, story. At least a cohesive one. And that's what we're hoping to see with the Simon Kinberg thing. Now, the problem with the media, the problem with Star Wars fans in general, is that we only see the negative side of things. For example, this is actually the perfect thing. I saw this yesterday, or maybe even today. Yeah, I saw this today. Let's take a look at this. So this is somebody reporting on the fact that Simon Kinberg has come on board to be doing the next Star Wars trilogy. And this is how they worded it. Simon Kinberg has been tapped to write and produce on the next Star Wars trilogy. His previous works include X-Men Apocalypse and Fantastic Four. And the comment to it is not a strong resume. Honestly, if you're looking at that, it's not. X-Men Apocalypse is not that bad of a movie. It's not a good one. Fantastic Four from 2020 or 2015 is horrible. Horrible. So yeah, that's not a good resume. But here's the deal. This is just people lying to you, or at least not telling you the full truth. Because his resume does not only include those 2 movies, it also includes Logan, the billion-dollar movie that is probably one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Then also this year, he was an executive producer on Deadpool and Wolverine, which was the biggest blockbuster of the year. Not to mention, he has Star Wars experience too, co-creating 4 seasons of Star Wars Rebels. All 4 seasons with Dave Filoni. So it's just the media trying to lie to us over and over again, or at least trying to persuade us one way rather than the other. The more negative way is usually the case. So when a guy like Simon Kinberg, who has this incredible experience with Star Wars and with some other projects like a Logan, like all the other X-Men movies that are really, really good, and like a Deadpool and Wolverine, you don't hear that side of things. You hear the 2 worst movies that he created because negativity sells. That's it. Because negativity sells. That's the only reason. So they could say he created all 4 seasons of Star Wars Rebels with Dave Filoni, who's now the guy in charge. He also created Logan, one of the best superhero movies ever, or helped create Logan, one of the best superhero movies ever. The biggest blockbuster of the year, Deadpool and Wolverine, he was an executive producer on that too. Nope. His previous works include X-Men Apocalypse and Fantastic Four, the shitty one. Negativity sells. Let's get back to our article, though. Yeah, we. All right. Whoops, wrong article. Here we go. Yeah, Ray movie. Okay, Ray trilogy. That's what we're talking about. While insiders dispute the notion that there is a battle for Ray here, there's definitely an internal deliberation within Lucasfilm as to what to do with the heir to the Skywalkers. There you go, the heir to the Skywalkers. She is the most valuable cinematic asset. In some ways, maybe the only one Star Wars has right now. One source close to the franchise tells The Hollywood Reporter. Now, again, one source close to the franchise tells The Hollywood Reporter. We don't know how valid that is. Now, hang on. Fix that. Yes, it's probably a good source, but is this somebody working on the movie? Is she really the most valuable cinematic asset? Because then you would make her movie first. There's a reason the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is coming out first. The reason you push that movie to come out first is because your biggest asset, and you know for a fact, is the Mandalorian. It's your biggest show on Disney Plus, and it's fucking Grogu. Look down, he's on your shirt right now. He's in your room, all over the place. He's right there. He's right here. He's everywhere. Doesn't sound very valid to me. Okay. According to the source, Ray is set to play a role in several movies that are being developed, although which ones remain unclear. It remains pretty clear to me. This Ray Kinberg trilogy that we're talking about here is where we're talking. Several movies, there's your several. Star Wars movie development have been under scrutiny for several years. We've had movies canceled, movies that never really came to fruition. Usually the movie news when it comes to Star Wars is a negative one. At least, I mean, not always. You have the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is going great. You have awesome news like the Dawn of the Jedi movie being a thing, which is great. But usually it's bad news. Movies being canceled, losing writers, whatever. Usually bad news. Delays, usually bad news. But Star Wars movie development has been under scrutiny for several years, with Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy taking fire for not developing meaningful characters beyond those first created by George Lucas prior to the sale of Disney in 2012 for $4 billion. And if the franchise looks forward in its canon timeline, all those beloved characters, Luke, Leia, Vader, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Han, they're all dead. Or had their storylines wrapped in prequels or spin-offs. Rey, created in this post-Lucas era, is arguably the only entity with currency on the big screen now. The closest is the little bear. Says another. Oh, is a little bear. Sorry. I could not disagree with this more. Rey being your biggest asset, yes, she is an asset. You can actually have that character go on a way bigger arc, be the new future, or at least the leader of the future in the post-sequel world. But you have incredible assets before the Skywalker saga. If you're talking Old Republic, don't even get me started on freaking like Darth Revan or somebody. But even in the Skywalker saga, you got Din Djarin, you got Grogu. These are just as big assets as a Rey Skywalker character. And you even got characters like Finn, who are probably just as big too. What the Kinberg hire lays bare is the development of movies, and the company remains its own unique ecosystem in Hollywood. There are numerous Star Wars movies being developed that overlap characters or timelines. They are not related, but whatever. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, chat, today. Okay, might have to bring out the Good Cup that follows orders in a second. Okay. They are not related, but whatever one were to come out first could be the domino effect, impacting the others after it. We've talked about this before. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, although it will be the first one to come out, can affect the Rey movie, can affect the Dawn of the Jedi movie. in many different ways. We talk about the Rey movie having the sacred texts, which will eventually be written in the Dawn of the Jedi movie, seeing the first ever Jedi temple on Tython in Arc 2. That will be seen in the being created for the first time in the Dawn of the Jedi movie. Also, actually getting to see possibly Abeloth or even the events that transpire with Grand Admiral Thrawn affecting the Rey movie. All these different stories, although they take place so far apart in the timeline, will be interconnected. Keep that in mind. The domino effect they're talking about here. Some Lucasfilm directors are aware of what others are working on. That's pretty big. While others are not. For instance, Taika Waititi is working on a Star Wars movie. Shawn Levy has a feature project in the works, and Donald Glover's Lando idea is has moved over development from a TV show to a film at Lucasfilm. The Rogue Squadron project is still in development as a feature. Pause for a second. Let's talk about this. So, the title of this live stream, as you might have seen, is that there are 10 new Star Wars movies in development. At least. Let's talk about them. You have this new Simon Kinberg trilogy. Let's start there. Now, you could say The Mandalorian is eventually going to turn into a trilogy. We won't even say that. You could say The Dawn of the Jedi is going to become a trilogy. We won't even say that. We're just going to go with what we know. Simon Kinberg trilogy, Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Dave Filoni's Mando and Grogu or Mandalorian Mandoverse crossover movie. That's 5. Dawn of the Jedi. That's 6. Shawn Levy's movie, which by the way is still in active development. Donald Glover's Lando movie, which by the way has turned from a TV show to a movie and is still in active development. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie, which, by the way, was canceled and now is back in active development. And Taika Waititi's movie, which, again, is still in active development, or at least active development, as much as you can call it that. That's 10 right there. That is 10 right there. And that doesn't even mention the fact that this Rey movie could be a completely different thing than the Rey trilogy, which I don't think is possible. And the possibility of there being another Mando movie to finish off the trilogy, 2 more Dawn of the Jedi movies to finish off that trilogy, and who knows what else is coming after that. So you're talking 10 plus actively developed Star Wars movies right now. Let me put that into perspective for you. Right now, we only have 11. You got 3 trilogies. The prequel trilogy, original trilogy, sequel trilogy. That's 9 movies. You have 2 spin-offs, Rogue One and Solo. That makes 11. That's it. We have possibly more movies in active development right now than we do Star Wars movies ever. Ever. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Now, will all those movies come to fruition? We don't know. Will Rogue Squadron ever happen? I don't know. I really don't. Could not tell you. Will Taika Waititi make a Star Wars film? I don't know. Maybe. Seems unlikely, but it's still in active development. If you were to ask Kathleen Kennedy, if you were to ask the higher-ups at Lucasfilm, they'd tell you yes. Well, all right, let's talk about this. Why are these movies still in active development? Let's take a look at Rogue Squadron, okay? Rogue Squadron was originally supposed to release in 2024, 2023? Wait, what? Was Rogue Squadron? Somebody fact check me on that, but I think it might have been 2023. Either way, Rogue Squadron was supposed to be out by now. It was. It was supposed to be the first Star Wars movie back in the theaters. Now, for obvious reasons, it wasn't. A Rogue Squadron movie about pilots, that's not the big return to the feature films that you want to have. The first film after the sequel trilogy, that's not what you want to do. So Lucasfilm has been waiting for the right movie to bring them back to the movie theaters. And that movie is The Mandalorian and Grogu. the biggest IP you have on Disney Plus is The Mandalorian, and bringing him and his little child, Grogu, to the big screen is your best bet. It's the best return to the Star Wars, to the big screen that you could have ever, or at least that you can think of. So to do that, to reintroduce Star Wars back to the big screen where it's always supposed to be, and then go on and make a project like Rogue Squadron, that makes a lot more sense. So now you have the introduction back to the movie theaters in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now that allows you to make these projects that are sort of not as important, but still hopefully really, really good. Think about it this way. Solo, which I think is very underrated, or Rogue One, which we talked about earlier. Rogue One is an incredible Star Wars movie. Absolutely incredible. It would never, ever be made today. Ever. Ever. Without a doubt in my mind, ever. After the sequel trilogy, Lucasfilm took a step back and said, we got to really focus up on what we're doing in the movies. And that makes sense. That's what they should have done, and they did the right move. But they would never make Rogue One today. Ever. They're going to do this so strategically throughout the next couple of years. A Mando trilogy, a Rey trilogy, Dawn of the Jedi trilogy. And that's when you'll begin to see those one-off movies come back. Your Rogue Squadrons, your Taika Waititi movie, your Shawn Levy movie. Once you finally get to see them finally get their footing back in the movie theaters, that's when you see these other movies coming up. So yeah, currently, right now, there is at least 10 Star Wars movies in development at Star Wars, at Lucasfilm. And that's just a fact. Whether all those will come to the screen, that remains the question. But the fact of the matter is there's over 10 movies currently in development at Star Wars. At Lucasfilm, I should say. So, let's keep reading. So yes, from Taika Waititi to Shawn Levy to Donald Glover to Patty Jenkins, all those movies are still in development. It's a different way of development, says another insider familiar with the company's ways of working. There's so much parallel work going on with different characters and different time periods happening at the same time. It also points to the unique nature of Star Wars to fans, and in this case of filmmaking, its producers. It's not a brand or a franchise, but something akin to a religion. Look at Marvel or DC, as they say here. With decades of storytelling propelling them forward, or even Harry Potter, with 7 fresh, fleshed out books, Star Wars, at its core, has been the original George Lucas movies. And nothing has been confided or been made more What the hell was that? Did you guys hear that, chat? Jesus, I don't know what that was, but there was a pretty loud bang. Yikes. Okay. Everybody good over there? Okay. Moving on. To filmmakers and executives, the first trilogy is like the Old Testament. So here's what they're pretty much saying here. Unlike Marvel or DC, which can reboot at any moment, Harry Potter is currently rebooting right now. So is DC. Marvel is at some point going to have to reboot and give us a new Iron Man, give us a new Captain America. By the way, there is a new Captain America. But they always can reboot. They can always do all this other stuff. Star Wars can't do that. Star Wars is an never-ending, expanding universe of canon knowledge. And akin to a religion, the first trilogy, the original trilogy, is akin to the Old Testament. It's something you always refer back to when creating something next. And this is what somebody else says. You're being asked to create a new Testament, adds one source who worked on a previous Star Wars movie, and no one can agree on anything, and there's a lot of second guessing about the meanings. So when you're working on something so great, something so important like Star Wars, to so many people across the world, but to the creatives themselves, it's so important to get it right. and not mess it up. And that's what they're worried about right now and working on right now with the Mandalorian Grogu movie, with this possible Kimberg trilogy. That's the issue. With Marvel and DC, you can have your misses. You can. You can have your She-Hulks. You can have your Miss Marvels, which I wasn't a big fan of, or your Secret Invasions. Like, you can have those misses and still have Loki season 2 come out and still have Deadpool and Wolverine come out and make billions of dollars. With DC, Superman next year is probably going to make a couple $1 billion. Let's be honest. It's Superman. A Batman movie can come out and make $1 billion like it's nothing. But you can also have your fails. You can have your original Justice League movies, not the Snyder Cut, but the original one. You can have your Batman vs. Superman, which some people like. It goes either way, but it's controversial. You can have your misses, your Wonder Woman 2s. But it doesn't matter because you can still make $1 billion making a Superman movie, making a Batman movie. It doesn't matter. The new Harry Potter remake is probably going to make a ton of money, even though nobody wants it. But with Star Wars, you have to get it right. Because if you don't, first of all, you're going to have this insane fandom that we live in right now after you, quite a lot, and you're going to make a lot of people upset. So Star Wars, in this world of sci-fi or fantasy or whatever you want to call it, in this world of Hollywood, is the holy grail. It's the thing that must be done correctly, because everything else can be wrong. Everything else can be shit, and it doesn't matter. But Star Wars is that one thing that needs to be good. Yeah, they fly now. It's true. They do fly now. Can I get some good cuts follow orders in the chat, please? Bumpa! Oh, that's some good water. That's some good water. You know what I can't wait, chat? Can't wait to dump this entire thing on my head. I've come to terms with it, okay? I'm ready. Hit that subscribe button because I'm ready, okay? Let's get to 100K so I can dump that thing on my head, okay? Let's keep reading. So the original trilogy is the Old Testament, and now filmmakers have to create the New Testament, so to speak, and not mess things up. Another source familiar with the process of is more business-minded, noted that Star Wars is a nostalgia-based enterprise, and they are running out of ways to create nostalgia. Here's where I extremely disagree with this. Star Wars has never, ever been a nostalgia franchise. It was made 45 years ago. Or I guess a little bit more than that now. 47 years ago. 47 years ago is not that long. 47 years ago is nothing. Absolutely nothing in terms of any sort of time. 47 years is nothing. So it's a very new thing. And the original trilogy couldn't rely on nostalgia because it was the first thing to ever do it. The prequel trilogy definitely didn't at all rely on nostalgia. The sequel trilogy, maybe. But that's also an argument to be had. You have to bring in characters like Luke, Leia, and Han in a sequel trilogy. There's no nostalgia to it there. That's just what has to happen. It's the same thing about the argument between fan service and actual storytelling. Because fan service isn't always a bad thing. Just like nostalgia isn't always a bad thing either. There's Star Wars projects that come out time and time again that have nothing to do with nostalgia. Anything at all. From, perfect example like we just talked about earlier today, Andor. Rogue One. Rogue One a little bit less so, but yes, there's still some nostalgia stuff in there, seeing Yavin 4, all that. But Andor Season 1, it's Star Wars. It has nothing to do with any nostalgia at all. It's brand new characters, brand new locations, nothing. I completely disagree with this. Yes, you have nostalgia because fans grew up on Star Wars and now have that emotional connection to those characters, and seeing those characters provides a feeling of nostalgia. But to say that Star Wars as a franchise is relying on nostalgia is so wrong. It's so wrong. And they just create it themselves. To say that seeing Ahsoka in live action is a nostalgic feeling is insane. Ahsoka was created 16 years ago. And to say you're running out of ways to create nostalgia is absolutely insane too. Like I just mentioned, you created it with Ahsoka. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Mace Cameron, what's up? So, with that being said, let's look to the horizon. The movies we just talked about. How many of those are going to rely on nostalgia? The Mandalorian and Grogu movie will not. I mean, yes, there might be some references to the original trilogy in there, but it's a show about Din Djarin, movie, I should say, about Din Djarin and Grogu, two brand new characters in the Star Wars universe, 5 years old. Look at the Rey trilogy. You're going to rely on nostalgia from Rey, who's 10 years old? Or it's a new saga, beginning of a new saga. You're going to the Dawn of the Jedi. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Do you think that we were really going to be getting the Dawn of the Jedi movie? Yes. I actually think that's one of the top of the list ones. Like it goes Mando and Grogu movie, Rey movie, then Dawn of the Jedi movie after that in terms of importance at Lucasfilm. Getting out, yeah. Yeah. Not nostalgia. Try repeating or retelling stories like Bond has. Fans would lose their mind. Exactly. Repeating and telling a story over again, or I guess rebooting the franchise, would be a disaster. It would be an absolute disaster, especially with Star Wars. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. All right, let's finish off this article. The television side doesn't appear to have these problems, as several insiders noted. The arm, has a lot more freedom to expand Lucasfilm's universe, which is why they've been a varied slate that runs the gambit, for better or for worse in the eyes of fans. From Andor, which season 2 arrives next April, to Acolyte, which is not getting a second season, as well as the corner of Ahsoka, the corner for Ahsoka? Oh, created by Dave Filoni, the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm now. So let's talk about that for a second. Disney Plus has had the ability, like they mentioned here, to have a lot more freedom in expanding the universe of Star Wars, as the movies should too, by the way, but they don't, I guess. But Disney Plus has the freedom to do so. That's why you have very differing projects. It's very different feeling projects, like Andor. Andor has no Force users, no lightsabers. It has a very different feel to the Acolyte, which is all lightsabers, all Force, all Jedi, witches, Sith, whatever. Or The Mandalorian. It's a gunslinger, bounty hunter, father-son type adventure. Then you have a show like Ahsoka that's very, very different, but in the same exact time period. So it's Disney Plus has allowed Star Wars to branch out, to do different things, explore the Star Wars universe in different ways, which is really, really cool. So the Star Wars movies need to be able to do that as well. And having somebody like Dave Filoni now be the chief creative officer, and he wasn't 5 years ago, having that is huge. Being able to explore, expand in the movie side of things in Star Wars like it always was intended to be. That's why the original trilogy is so different from the prequel trilogy. Because George Lucas didn't want to rewrite the same story. He didn't want to recreate the same thing. Star Wars is an ever-expanding thing with different feelings for each project. That's why some fans don't like the sequel trilogy or prequel trilogy or original trilogy, because it has a very different feeling from what else came around it. Yeah. But another insider adds, to make standalone movies or continue the Skywalker saga in any form is a fundamental question that the company faces as it tries to move forward. Obviously, when you make any Star Wars movie, you're adding to that sort of greatness that is Star Wars, and to make it wrong would be a mistake. So making any standalone movie or a continuation of the Skywalker saga in any form is something that needs to be worked on quite a bit. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. First things first. Of all those movies that we talked about, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie, the Dawn of the Jedi movie, a possible Rey trilogy, a possible Rey movie, New Jedi Order movie, a possible Shawn Levy movie, Taika Waititi movie, Rogue Squadron by Patty Jenkins, Donald Glover's Lando movie, and many others. Which Star Wars movie are you most excited for? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat. The Force Awakens is almost 10 years old. I know, right? That's insane. The Force Awakens is almost 10 years old. That's wild. Can't wait for Andor Season 2. Me either. Nathan, what's up? John Mitchell in the house. How we doing? Nathan says, hey, Mike, hope all's going well and I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a great day. Great stream so far. Inklet says, I think Star Wars is nostalgic, but they aren't relying on nostalgia to make the stories. Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's nostalgic because fans have such a attachment to those characters, and they feel nostalgic because of seeing those characters that they know and love so much. But they don't rely on it. They're not relying on the nostalgia to keep telling more stories. By the time this supposed Rey trilogy is going to come out, they could be relying on nostalgia for the sequels. My daughter, for one, loves Rey. That may be true to an extent. I mean, it's been already 5 years since the sequel trilogy ended, almost 10 years since the sequel trilogy began. So a kid who grew up on the sequel trilogy, let's say you were 8 years old when the sequel trilogy began, that means by the time it ended 6 years later, you're 14, quick maths, you're 14, and now 5 years later, you're 19. You're an adult. Like that. Boom. You're an adult. So now when that Rey movie comes out in maybe 3 years from now, you're 22, you're 23. And now that trilogy is nostalgic to you because you remember as a kid growing up watching that sequel trilogy to an extent. Yeah. All right, which movie are you guys looking forward to the most? A lot of Dawn of the Jedis. Yeah. Seeing the origins of the Jedi is going to be so cool. Rey movies, nice. Nice. Mando, of course. Heir to the Empire, if it is called that, yeah. Mandalorian and Grogu, nice. Nice. We are 689 subscribers away from 100K. Credible source. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't know who your credible source is, but sure. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. What if zombie-themed Star Wars Dawn of the Dead? What? What you talking about? Dawn of the Jedi? Yeah, Dawn of the Jedi is going to be pretty great. It's going to be epic. And plus it's James Mangold and Mr. Willimon, so can't go wrong there. Can't go wrong there. Do you guys want to do call-ins today? I'm feeling like a call-in day. I feel like this is a good call-in day. We got a lot to talk about. So if you're not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join that immediately. But we're going to do some call-ins in the Discord. So let's do that, okay? I'm going to open up the stage. So if you want, you can call in and we can have a nice conversation about all this news that we're talking about here. And I could give my voice a rest for a second. So you just have to come into that section of the Discord and press the hand raise button so I can click on you and we can get you on in. There you go, Mace Cameron. I expect yours to be a reliable source then. Let me check my side then. Let me check my reliable source, which is the number exactly. Pretty spot on. Pretty spot on. Yeah, the number has slowed quite a bit, but you know we'll hit it eventually. We shall hit it eventually, for sure. For sure. The Heir to the Empire feels like it'll be in episode 6.5. Yeah, it will be, but it will be to an extent. Obviously, if there is a Mando trilogy in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, it's going to feel like a trilogy that's a episode 6.5. Like Luke, Leia, and Han will be involved in that. It has to be, you know? maybe I'll hit 100K by Saturday stream. No, we are currently on track to probably hit 100K, I'd guess, within like 2 weeks. Hopefully. I don't even know. I want to hit it before Skeleton Crew, but I'm not rushing anything here, you know? As much as I'd love to dump this thing on my head, I don't really want to dump this thing on my head. So we're taking our time. We're taking our time. Yeah. Yeah. UV clips, that is hilarious, by the way. Don't you think I missed that? Yeah. No worries, Chris. I appreciate you. Have a great dinner. Make something good for me. I appreciate you. No worries. No worries at all. Okay, let's take a look at this, shall we? Interesting. Oh, I didn't even notice this. See, this is why the internet is so great. People notice stuff like this. Look at the similarities between, or the parallels, I should say, between Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso in this. Like, here's the coolest part about Andor Season 2 is it leads directly into Rogue One. So we're going to see shit like this all the time. But look at this. You can't tell me that this wasn't on purpose. They know what they're doing over there at Lucasfilm. They know what they got up their sleeves over there. Yeah. Do I remember hitting my first 1,000 subscribers? Yeah. I hit 1,000, I don't know, after like a year or something. It was a grind. It's a grind for sure. It is a grind for sure. That's why I'm not in any rush to hit 100K. We're enjoying the process. Every subscriber counts, you know? Everyone matters. Everyone is an accomplishment. When you go years with getting a few every month, it becomes natural to celebrate each one. Yeah. But this is clearly on purpose. This is pretty cool. Seeing the parallels between Jyn Erso and Cassian, it's pretty dang cool. This being a promotional photo for Rogue One, and then that one being for Andor Season 2. Indeed. Pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. If I do say so myself. Here's the deal. We got to get, like, back when The Acolyte was coming out, even though people either disliked it or really liked it, it was the talk of the town. Same thing with the Bad Batch, even, or Ahsoka. It was the talk of the town. So we got to get Skeleton Crew because it comes out in 19 days to become the talk of the town. It's got to be the thing that everybody's talking about online, or not everybody, but you know, the Star Wars fans at least is talking about. Yeah. Joe says, I joined when Mike was under 10K. Yeah, I mean, we hit 10K this year, so you've been here since probably 2K. It's crazy. Yeah. UV Clip says, nah, what I want to see is Luthen die. He's a cool character, but I want to see Cassian skeen his ass so bad. Shoot him. Luthen is not going to be trustworthy in Season 2. I guarantee it. I don't know if he won't be trustworthy, but I think, yes, I really want to see Cassian have to kill him. That would be insane. If Cassian has to kill Luthen, it would be so damn cool. Is it 20 days till... I think it's 19 days till Skeleton Crew, right? Maybe it's 20. I don't even know. I think it's 19, though. Somebody fact check me on that. But yes, Luthen has to die, or at least is likely to die because of not being in Rogue One. Yeah. Oh, new poster. This is the poster you're talking about? Okay. Okay. I stand corrected. There is a new poster for Skeleton Crew. There is a new poster. Not much to it, but we actually get a really good look at Brutus. So still they got the X-Wings copy and pasted up there, and the Onyx Cinder up there. Jude Law right down the middle, still looking badass, most likely going to be a villain. Interestingly enough, Fern's mom, which is this character right here, is featured on both posters, while Wim's dad, who's in the trailer quite a bit, is not in either poster. Interesting. So Fern's mom's going to play a pretty big role in this that we don't really know much about. There's SM-33, a really good look at Brutus here. Let's zoom in on him. Looking werewolfy. Also, similar to Fern's mom, a focus on the owl dude. the owl character that we see briefly in one of the trailers, has been in both posters, and he doesn't really seem like that big of a character. So, I don't know. And then down here, we got the 4 kids zooming off, very akin to Stranger Things, where the kids are riding off on their bikes. That's what this reminds me of the most. Yeah. Indeed. All right, let's zoom back out. That's the new trailer that we just got for Skeleton Crew. Again, new posters, sorry. New poster. New posters, new trailers, new TV spots, all that stuff is going to be coming out within the next couple days for sure. Could Jin be in Andor Season 2? Jin, Andor Season 2. Jin Erso. I would say no, because first time her and Cassian meet is in Rogue One. Stretch. So I would guess no, but you never know. Maybe. Whoops. That's the chat. I'm telling you, there's a planet or something first order related. Oh, their planet is first order related for sure. The robot's there simply because they need to make sure that the kids are being taught correctly in the first order troopers. Yeah, there's definitely something weird. I don't know about first order, but definitely something weird going on with their planet. Yeah, for sure. The owl has on a uniform. New Republic? Does he have a uniform on? Zoom back in. It is very New Republic-esque, actually. Hang on. We might be onto something here. Navarro, great catch. Let's check this out. Who's wearing the Old Republic uniform? Who am I thinking of here? New Republic, sorry. New Republic. New Republic. New Republic. New Republic Star Wars. Let's just see. I can... I'm thinking of a specific character. I can't think of who the face is, but the outfit is the exact same. New Republic characters, maybe in Ahsoka? Ah, here we go. Now we're on to something. So this guy's outfit. If we take a gander at this guy, check out this outfit, this New Republic outfit that this guy's wearing right here, the guy in the middle. It looks very, very similar to his outfit, the owl's outfit. Hang on, let me scroll over. Oh, I can't go over anymore. See that? Sort of the brownish with the belt and sort of the cape looking thing. He's not wearing the cape, but he's got the brownish and the belt. I don't know. Might be onto something there. Might be a New Republic owl. Be pretty good. I like it. Good find, Navarro. For sure. Oh, is anyone doing call-ins? Oh, fuck. I completely forgot about the call-ins. Damn it. If anybody came in and tried to raise their hand, I apologize, but I forgot to do that. Damn. Okay, I guess not a good day for call-ins because I forgot about them, so we'll do call-ins next time. That's my bad, chat. That's my bad. Damn. Oh, shit. We got a new image from Andor Season 2. Look, that's Skeen right there on the right here. It's Skeen on the right side of your screen. It's Skeen, the guy who Andor kills in Season 1. He's back in Andor Season 2. And he's got a friend. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay. Moving on. You guys are crazy. Saw Gerrera. Yeah, Saw Gerrera will definitely be in Season 2. Saw will be definitely in there for Season 2. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Think of the Ahsoka character, the pilot guy. True. I think we'll see Jyn Erso or Saw Gerrera in Season 2. Yes, Saw. Maybe not Jyn Erso. But Saw is definitely, yeah, for sure. For sure. Mike, do you think that how Andor will kill Luthen will be similar to how Han kills Beckett? Ooh, interesting. I'd say that's the best way for the character to go, in my opinion. I agree. I think Luthen's going to know that his time is up or something like maybe not. It's probably not going to be the same as Han and Beckett because I think Luthen's going to sort of tell Cassian to kill him so that the Empire doesn't get the secrets of the rebellion. I think he's going to make a sacrifice play, but I think Cassian's going to be the one who has to kill him. Yeah. Yeah. We should see Saw. We see Saw before. For sure. Saw for sure. Seesaw? We should seesaw. Me, you, seesaw? We seesaw? Melissa, what's up? Okay. Since we're losing our minds, I think we're going to get on out of here. We went over the Andor Season 2 exclusive from Empire Magazine. Nobody can answer me if magazines still exist. We went over the Hollywood Reporter news of all these 10-plus Star Wars movies in development and how crazy that shit is. But Skeleton Crew happens in 19 days, chat. 19 days until Skeleton Crew begins. And that will be quite a cool, fun time. So watch over that. We are on watch for 100K subscribers. We are 600 and something, 90-ish subscribers away. So watch out for that emergency live stream for that. I feel like there was something else I wanted to show you guys. Ooh, how about this for an idea? Chat, how about this? Imagine in a Battlefront 3 type scenario, Wampa hunt. Just like the Ewok hunt, where you're on Andor and it's nighttime, you're being hunted by Ewoks. Wampa hunt, Battlefront 2, you're on Hoth, and you're trying to escape Echo Base while being hunted down by Wampas. First of all, that's pretty cool artwork right there. But that'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Would you play that? Here's the deal, chat. We need a Battlefront 3 badly. Like, really badly. So, yeah. Like, really badly. Okay. I'm going to get on out of here before I fall asleep on stream. Will Skeleton Crew get a release, midnight release or primetime release? It will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, similar to the Acolytes release and Ahsoka's release, which is great, which means not the 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time one. So, yeah. This chat is the best, Inklet. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. And if you want this conversation to keep on going, go join that Discord in the description below. Go join that. And, yeah. Yeah. All right. I appreciate you. Yeah, it would be 6 p.m. Pacific time. Indeed. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and who knows where else and when else. But yeah. Okay. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not yet. How many likes we got on this stream? Am I going to be mad, chat? Am I going to be mad? 63! We had almost 80 people here today. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I appreciate you guys. Smash that like on your way out if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell to get notified every time I post a video in my pretty face. Or show up in that recommended feed of yours. We are getting so close to 100K, but on the way, we'll just be drinking out of this cup until I have to dump it on my head. Okay. Until then, may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Yeah, let's keep the party going, you know? Hopefully a video for you tomorrow. Talking about this Andor news probably, or whatever we want to talk about, I guess. 19 days until Skeleton Crew. The countdown continues. And the countdown to 100K also continues. We are almost there. We are almost there. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.